And we're turning our attention now to the top stories on the front pages of the newspapers this morning. And we're joined by Dr. Dan Ekere, lecturer from the University of Lagos. Good morning, Doctor.
Thank you. Good morning.
Dr. Kerry, good morning. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Let's begin with the punch. EFCC obtains court order to detain Fayose for 2 weeks. That's on page 12. Charge ex-governor to court, PDP tells EFCC. And then it appears we are going through the cycle again where, we have to prompt the corruption agency to take the accused to court.
No, but well, thank you. I'm a bit worried that they have to go to court to seek a court order to detain him. I don't know where the pleasure lies, whether it is in detaining him or it is in prosecuting. So if you've alleged that this man is guilty of anything at all, I expect that it should not even take them 24 hours to go to court for prosecution, not for detention. So I expect that in the next couple of days, EFCC should be able to show itself that it knows what it's doing, that it's not just an appendage to any particular organ, but that it is an institution that is actually put in place to checkmate corruption and to deal with, corrupt practices. So the idea of detaining him for 2 weeks means that they have not concluded their investigation before even, coming for the man. Look at what happens in other crimes. Before you make all this noise about, crime and all that, you would have put all your facts in place. So by the way it's going, I have a lot of worries about it. But at the same time, that is not to say that we are saying that Fayose is innocent. All right? But if we even look at it critically, which of the governors, former governors, is actually innocent? Because we can look at their earnings and their investments. We can compare. How much is their earnings? What businesses do they do?
At least we
why wait for a governor who is just about leaving, and those who have left and they are moving about freely, nothing has happened?
At least they've succeeded in jailing at least 2.
Of course.
So I guess the trend
the
is
former Plateau State governor is
and the former governor of Taraba State. On the other hand, Fayose on his own prepared with his bed sheet,
everything.
Yes. In fact,
he's ready for them.
He's ready.
Very clearly.
He refused administrative bail earlier, so
he's ready for them.
He's ready.
But let's hope that the EFCC follows this case to a logical conclusion and let us see them like a body that knows what is doing.
And of course, within the shortest period of time. Let's check out other stories on the front page of the Punch. Obasanjo Atiku, Catholic Secretariat, says Kuka's reconciliatory effort hijacked, politicized. Electoral bill, card reader splits reps. Senate probes illegal bank charges, demands suspension of ATM card maintenance fee. But there's an eyesore on the front page of the Punch. It's scenes from pension verification conducted for retired employees of the defunct Nigeria Airways on the premises of Skypar, Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. One would have thought that at this age and time, we would find others better civil ways to treat our senior citizens.
Nigeria Airways died several years ago. Why now? Was it that there have been some workers who just joined the system?
The president just approved about 45 billion.
That's right, for pension.
For their pension and to offset all of their arrears.
Beautiful.
Or most of the arrears, as the case may be. So I guess the verification now is to know who is entitled to what and who is still alive or who is dead. And Nigerians will say, all of these things should be, all this information should have been there all the while.
And
because you're not talking about new people who are employed, you're talking about people who have worked all the while. So even if the person is dead, he's entitled to it.
It doesn't stop the fact that, between the period the airline was liquidated and the period the person died, at least he still has entitlements. So all this issue of verification that will eventually lead to further killing of innocent Nigerians who have served their country will be wired as a result of the torture on the queues and the rest of it, for me, is unacceptable.
Well, we still have to fine-tune a lot of, democracy.
But again, there's an issue you raised there on the issue of card readers and the rest of it that split the House of Reps, because I listened to, Osai and the rest of them in the House who were making the arguments, and that they want specification. Card reader. Every other instrument you are going to bring, mention it. If you want laptops added, mention it. You never can tell at the time you begin to say, and any other gadget of anything or any whatever, technology that you are going to apply, that could be very dangerous,
All
really.
right. Yeah, I think it's a good point to note there. Let's move to The Nation now. It's the next paper here. Akpabio to Saraki, Senate leadership must change. Senators in row over setting plan. Well, they're still on with this. Well, a few days ago, or after they resumed, or prior to their resumption, just a few days before they resumed plenary, there were the movement here and there. We saw, and then there was a report that said that certainly senators have decided to calm down and, shelve the idea of changing the House, the Senate leadership. But Akpabio is still on, I guess, from this headline.
I think that is, based on the kind of treatment he was given yesterday, where he wanted to, make some contributions, and the Senate president failed to recognize him on the ground that he was sitting where he ought not to sit, and all of that. And I remember listening to the other senator saying that we've had a case like this with Dino Melaye, and there were no issues with respect to where to sit. So why now, and all of that? They all still point to the fact that the Senate chamber is not moving, the senators are not moving in the same direction. There's no flow among them. We still have all these skirmishes, But more importantly, I think that this question of removal or no removal should be kept in abeyance. So they have a few weeks, few months to go. So let's focus on the business of governance for the remaining few months. In the next dispensation, should you come up as the government in power and you have the number in the Senate, then you can put whoever you want. But for now, those kind of distractions will take us back. I think we should just move on.
After all, quite a number of them will not return, after the election.
Just
so why?
From the reports, just about 42 of them that may not, that is obvious, didn't get the ticket, but we still have more. But anyway, let's see more other headlines here. Ibori loses appeal against UK graft conviction. And then the EFCC to seize Fayoshe's assets in Lagos and Abuja. And then you have pictures there showing some of the alleged buildings that belong to him. All right. Moving on, missing General Army hands over 13 to police. And the Federal Executive Council Senate, OK $2.9 billion Eurobond for 2018 budget. And train crushes Team Nigeria boxer in Lagos. That's sad. And there are free meals for Ikiti pupils from December. That's a package from the government. And couple sell baby for 550,000 naira. Sad one, really sad one.
So we're still in that circle.
Still in that circle, the desperation to make money.
Honestly.
Government, labor set for showdown over pay.
Oh, wow.
And I know this will interest you somehow. Minimum wage.
Yes, even for me, what is being proposed as minimum wage is still something that is still very amusing as far as I'm concerned. It still will not solve any problem. However, it will still be better than 18,000 naira. Because obviously...
Are you referring to 24, 30, 25? Which of the figures are you talking
Well,
about?
I was actually looking at something of not less than 30 as earlier, mentioned. But to say that 24 and all of that, with the issues of whether some states... I doubt if there's any state in Nigeria that cannot pay.
It's
if not for the thieves who are in charge of the
Let's move on very quickly and see the front page of the Vanguard. Stop borrowing. Senate, NSIA, others warn federal government as FEC appoint $2.78 billion Eurobond managers. Nigeria needs to avoid another debt burden. NLC, Rwani and Ezekwesili saying that. Corporate Nigeria lampoons federal government's borrowing. Senate asks CBN to increase ATM withdrawal to 40,000 naira per transaction. We seem to have dividing view here. While someone, I think it was the Central Bank of Nigeria that recently said we are still in the comfortable zone of borrowing. We still can borrow more.
What do you expect? They will always tell you that. But at the same time too, the next one you will hear is that as a result of, debt and all the rest, then we now have this challenge or that challenge. How can you say you have $10 billion, for instance, as your earnings that you have saved? Meanwhile, you are owing 20 billion. It's as good as you are even in debt, all right? So this idea of borrowing, I don't know what we're actually doing with all these borrowed funds and or what have you. You know, but we need to be a bit more meticulous with the management of our funds. I think much of all these borrowings at the end of the day end up in private hands, which does not go well for this country. The ones we've generated within, how judiciously have we used them? So that is the first issue we should be looking at.
Interesting figure here. Nigeria's rise in foreign debt in billion, as of June 2015, it was $10.32 billion. But June 2018 is $22.08 billion.
That's about 100% increase.
Definitely.
In fact, more than 100%.
More than.
Other stories on the front page here. Primaries deadline, Oshomole in last-minute peace moves. Crisis rock Igbo, Delta Oshu APC. Fayose to EFCC, charge me to court if you have evidence. And that's it.
It's part of what he said earlier.
I doubt if EFCC has put his house in order. I doubt.
Okay. Let's move to this day. This is the last paper now. Supreme Court orders federal government to adjust oil proceeds sharing formula when price exceeds $20. It's victory for rule of law, says Dixon. Now, the oil price index, the sharing formula, has been a little contentious over the years as to when it is at this benchmark. In fact, we remember when the budget is being fixed. The National Assembly and the federal government always have issues as to what should be the benchmark, what should the budgetary benchmark should be.
Yes, there has been that issue, and now most of the time we'll see, you know, the oil price actually exceeding the benchmark.
Exactly.
And at the end, what you hear is excess crude account.
Exactly.
Now, what happens to the excess crude account becomes another contentious issue. There have been issues of there's no law covering it and all of that. It means that somebody can just carry anything and in the name of excess crude account and take it anywhere. If there's no law, you know, guiding such things, it means it can be used without any query. Because what is not before the law cannot be
recognized
at all.
because you've not committed any offense. Anyhow, whatever you do with it.
For me, I think we need to be a bit more reasonable in dealing with so many of these things so that Nigerians can benefit.
All right, Senate approves $2.7 billion Eurobond to finance 2018 budget. Upper Chamber condemns excessive bank charges. All right. Atiku promises women, youth 40% of cabinet positions. That's politics there.
Yes.
Interesting from there.
Very interesting.
One way or the other. APC, PDP, others race to beat INEC's deadline. We know that the submission of presidential and National Assembly candidate list ends today. And everyone is doing everything to ensure they beat the...
let's hope INEC will be able to stand its ground should any of these parties fail to meet up.
Well, they've been standing their ground against Zamfara State.
And let's hope that it continues.
Well, the issue is in court, so it's going back and forth one way or the other. So we wait to see how it plays out. Because INEC is saying only 17 parties have submitted their list.
And that's quite a huge number.
We have 91
out of 91.
Yeah, some are just parties by name. In fact, I would doubt if you know so many of them.
Well, they just registered new ones. So why would you know?
I just heard of new ABGA or something, whatever. I don't know whether it has been registered.
It's interesting. Though.
Okay, finally here we have the Daily Sun. It features the winners from the Sun Awards. El Rufai, Ogwayi, Shatima, Dixon. The list is endless. Winners from there. EFCC unveils buildings linked to ex-Governor Fayose. Former AKT Governor refuses to answer questions, declines administrative bail. Senate orders suspension of ATM, other charges, summon CBN Governor. PSC appoints 3 new DIGs, 4 AIGs. And anger in Senate as PDP, APC senators clash over seating arrangement. Well, hopefully that we're going to hear less of this as the days go by. Someone said election year. So perhaps
they are part of the ingredients, you know? Because you will always find this kind of happenings towards the election, the general election, and I'm not surprised that we're having all of it because there's been a lot of disagreements, a lot of changing of positions and alliances and what have you.
That's right.
So it is expected, but I hope they do it in a reasonable manner that will not get Nigerians provoked.
It's okay.
And that's it on the Daily Sun.
Okay, that's the Daily Sun. Thank you very much for coming, Dr. Danekere. But we'll keep you for the next discussion
thank
of
you.
the day.